Hi everyone, in this tutorial we're going to continue reviewing how to solve equations, but this time the equation has variables on both sides, okay? So let's get started. Before we do anything, let's start off with this one here, and this has a parenthesis, okay? So we need to do something before we start solving for x here, and that is we need to distribute -5 to the x and also to the -4. So let's do that. -5 times x. -5 times x is -5x. Negative times positive is negative. -5 times -4. -5 times -4 is 20. And positive because they're both negative. So negative times negative is positive. And on the right hand side, we don't do anything. We just leave it the way it is. So -7x plus 26. Now, I want to bring all the variables to the left hand side, okay? So that's what I want to do first, and I have a -7x, so I need to do the opposite. That means I'm going to add 7x to both sides. So plus 7x, then this cancels from this side, and then I have -5x plus 7x, that's 2x plus 20 equals 26, okay? Now, I want to get the x's by themselves on the left-hand side, and I need to get all the numbers on the right-hand side. I have a 20 here, and it's positive. Again, I do the opposite, so I'm going to subtract 20 from both sides of the equation. So that again cancels, and then I obtain 2x equals 6. Finally, I have a 2 in front of the x, so I divide by that 2 on both sides, and we find the value of x. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and we are done. So there's the solution for that equation. If you did not understand this, if I went too fast, I advise you to go ahead and pause the video and maybe rewind it and watch it again. And if after that you still don't understand, just bring questions to the classroom tomorrow, and I'll try to, either me or your peers will be able to answer those questions, okay? Now let's move on to the next question. On this one, notice that on the left hand side I have 2y, 3y, and 4y, and they're both negatives. And if I combine them, I have 2 and 3, that's 5, 5 and 4, that's 9, and they're all negatives, so that means I have a -9y on the left hand side equals 5y minus 18. All I did was I combined like terms. They're all y, so I can put them together. Okay? Then I want to solve for y. I want to bring all the y's to the left hand side. I have 5 here, so I'm going to, and they're positive, so I'm going to subtract them. -5y minus 5y. They cancel from this side, and now I have them all on the left hand side. So this is -9 and a -5. They're both negative, so that means when I put them together, I obtain -14y equals -18. Okay? Now again, I want to get y by itself. I divide by -14 because it has a -14 in front of it. Oops. Let me correct that real quick. There we go. -14, and then y equals, this is 18, -18 divided by -14, negative divided by negative is positive, so then this is 18 over 14. Now this reduces to y equals, the number that goes evenly into 18 and 14 is 2. 2 goes into 18 9 times, because 2 times 9 is 18, and 2 goes into 14 7 times. Now I'm going to stop here, but tomorrow you will not see answers like this on the assignment. Okay, they're going to be mixed numbers, but I'm going to answer that. I'm going to go over that tomorrow before I give you the assignment, or and hopefully that doesn't give you any headache. So now let's move on to the next. This is a word problem, and most students have a hard time with this type of questions because they're just words. You don't see any numbers. You don't see a variable. So in order to solve this problem, we need to set up an equation and solve for that variable that we come up with. But if we can't put this into an equation, then there is no way we can do that. Okay. So let's break this in pieces so that we start understanding what we need to do. I'm going to underline the keywords here. Okay, let's read it first. Hi Shelby, I'm sorry I chose you to do an example, but I hope you don't mind. Shelby is thinking of a number, and that number is 40 and 40 decreased by 2 times. That number is the same as 3 times that number increased by 60. What is Shelby's number again? Shelby is thinking of a number. 40 decreased by 2 times that number is the same as 3 times that number increased by 60. What is Shelby's number? So that's the question. So let me underline keywords. Okay. So it's one of them is decreased, and this is not working. Okay, decreased, and the other one is also important, and increased. Okay, those are keywords. Decrease, I hope you remember that. Remember that stands for minus. I'm going to subtract. Is stands for equals. And increased, that means I'm going to add. Okay? Now I'm going to pay attention to the numbers. So for instance, it says 40, so that's a number, and 2 times, that's also important, that number, so that goes together. Same as 3 times that number increased by 60. Okay, so that's what we need to understand. So let's break it into pieces. So for instance, 40 decreased, so that means I have the number 40. And before I do anything, I'm just going to write this down, and I hope you don't mind. I'm just trying to tell you what I'm doing, okay? So I'm going to say, let X represent, because you got to represent, represent Shelby's, and I'm going to abbreviate here, I'm getting lazy, Shelby's number. I hope you don't mind. Okay, that's just to let you know what X stands for. So then I'm going to start writing down the equation. Okay. So 40, that's where we start. 40 decreased, that means I'm going to subtract by 40 decreased by 2 times that number. We don't know that number is X, so that's 2X equals, and then is, that's for equals, and then the same as 3 times that number, so that means this is going to be 3x increased by 60, so we're going to add 60, and there's our equation. And that's where I'm going to stop. I hope you can finish this up, and if you can't, then you can ask this questions about this again tomorrow. Okay, see you tomorrow. Sleep well. Bye bye.